Hello everyone, welcome back to Mary's Little House. Peanut's right here to welcome you on, warming my lap here. He's ready to go to bed. I'm so glad you came. I wish to talk to you at this Take 10 with Jim session about the Eternal Father. It's one of the special gifts that we feel in our Mother of God ministries, that we have this special love for the Eternal Father. He's a father of us all. No one has a monopoly on him, of course not. But we just have a special warm spot for the Eternal Father. In 1932, on July 1st, the Eternal Father appeared to a wonderful sister, Mother Eugenia Elisabetta Rivazio. We visited her convent in Italy on one of our pilgrimages. Her revelation has been approved by a bishop and all, by the church, and we were so excited to come in contact with her. She is deceased now, and we're praying for her cause of beatification and canonization. But in that appearance on July 1st, 1932, the Father actually sat down as a man. Now, we know the Father's a spirit, but he assumed the appearance of a man. He took off his crown and set it on the ground. He didn't want to be intimidating. And he sat right with Sister Eugenia Elisabetta Rivazio. And here's what he said. The reason why he's coming to the world, and he chose Sister to bring this message to the world, were these three things. I want to start out with them, and we'll be developing them later in other sessions and other writings. Here are the three things. I am coming to banish the excessive fear that my creatures have for me, and to show them that my joy lies in being known and loved by my children, that is, by all mankind, present and future. He wants to be known and loved, and he doesn't want any of us, the human family, to fear him. He wants to banish excessive fear of God. Because he's a loving Father, and his joy lies in being known and loved by my children. That's number one. Banishing excessive fear and being known and loved by my children. Isn't that wonderful? 2, I am coming to bring hope to men and nations. How many have long since lost it? This hope will make them live in peace and security, working for their salvation. Don't we need that today, with all the terrorism, with all the brokenness in our human family? He's coming to give us hope in the middle of all this commotion, to give us hope and make them live in peace and security, working for their salvation. That's number 2. And the third one is, I am coming to make myself known just as I am, so that man's trust will increase together with their love for me, their Father. I have but one concern, to watch over all men and love them as my children. Isn't that beautiful? So those are the three things. 1, to banish excessive fear of God, the Father, and to show that his joy lies in being known and loved by his children. So when you tell him that you love him, that gives him joy. He has everything, but he still wants us to tell him that we love him and appreciate him. Give him glory and praise. And then 2, I'm coming to bring hope to men and to nations. Boy, do we need that now. And number 3, he's coming to make himself known just as I am, so that men's trust may increase together with their love for me, their Father. I have but one concern. This is the Father talking, to watch over all men and love them as my children. Just tonight I received from a very proud grandmother holding a newly born granddaughter. She called it her princess. And she had to travel a long distance to be there for the birth of her granddaughter. And she is just beaming. And here's what she reminded me of this next thing. The father explains how he loves to be with his children, like this grandmother with her new granddaughter. The painter delights in contemplating the picture he has painted. The painter delights in his painting. In the same way, it is my pleasure and delight to come among men, the masterpiece of my creation. He would travel a long ways too to see his children. Well, he's God. He's already there with them. But he loves his children. He delights in us. He loves to be with us. He loves to listen to us. Throughout our love for the Father in my own personal life, I can't get my day started, my work day started without having coffee with the Father. For a half hour after I have my breakfast, I just sit with a cup of coffee and talk to the Father about the day. I just don't even know how to get started with the day without that time with the Father. It's very down to earth. It's about what I have to do. It's about the last night and the planning of the day. And it's a delightful time. And He's a wonderful Father. He just delights in being with me, and I'm learning to delight in being with Him. So maybe I would just encourage you, maybe rather than reading the paper or watching today or those TV things, there's just so much there to distract us that maybe we don't need all the news. We need news, but maybe we don't need as much as we watch or consume. And just be with the Father. Just to turn off the medias and everything and put down the newspaper and just be with the Father. Talk about the world. Talk about what's interesting, what you're concerned about, and have coffee with the Father. I'm so happy to have that relation with the Father, and I just yearn that others know what a tender Father who doesn't want us to fear Him, who wants us to love and trust Him, and who just delights in being with us, like that grandmother's delighting to hold her new granddaughter, her new little princess. The Father delights in being with us. And sometimes when people are in distress, I tell them, let the Father hold you to His bosom. Let Him care for you and dote over you. Let Him protect you. He will answer all your needs. Some people, they feel so alone in the world, and I say, oh, don't. The Father will provide all your needs. And that's emotional and romantic and all those needs that our human heart yearns for. The Father knows what we need, Jesus said. By the way, Jesus' whole mission was to reveal the Father. His whole mission was he was the Word, the most perfect expression of the Father. He is the Word. And He tells about the Father. He says, seek first the kingdom, and all these things will be added. That what we are to eat and drink and wear, all the Father knows we need all those things. God will provide. All we are to do is to delight in the Father and to delight the Father by doing the Father's will. That's all our job is, to play before the Father. And playing is the responsibilities, but they're not responsibilities like heavy burdens. They're what the Father has given. There's different things that happen today, little things that cause me some distress. And I said, Father, you let this happen. There must be a soul to be saved. I accept this. And I always pray, please help me, to Cindy, to help me be gracious and patient. She's still helping me as my helpmate, spiritual helpmate now from heaven. But she's the one that got us started. She had the insight to see the goodness in Sister Eugenia Elizabetha Rivazio's revelation, and she's given this patrimony to our ministry. And I share it with you, this love, this tender love for the Father and his tender love for you. God bless you, and good night.